You know, the other day, my daughter asked me to play a game with her. And I really did not want to play that game. But she insisted, and I told her I don't know how to play the game, and she showed me how to play the game. She drew these rectangle things and said, okay, if you do this, you do this. If you do this, I win. If you do this, you lose, and all that. Okay, let's do this. And in playing the game, I was making sure that she shouldn't win. Because I know if this girl wins, I will not have peace. So at some point, she looked at me and she was like, Mommy, play to win instead of just focusing on blocking your opponent. And I stood there and I was like, where did that come from? And that has stayed with me ever since. Sometimes wisdom jumps out of kids unexpectedly. She does not even realize how that moment transformed me in her letting me know that I should play to win instead of just blocking the opponent from winning. And because I'm in the AI space a lot, I started thinking about this and linking it to artificial intelligence and businesses. A lot of businesses and leaders are playing defense when it comes to artificial intelligence. They are not looking at building the future, they are looking at protecting what they already have, what they've built so far. And for me, that is a dangerous business or a dangerous strategy. Don't be like me, playing game with your daughter or with your business and just blocking the opponent from winning instead of trying to win. And so with that being said, today we will be looking at leadership in the age of intelligent disruption. Yes, disruption has always happened from when technology was a thing, from the Industrial Revolution. Disruption has always happened, but what we are dealing with right now is intelligent disruption. And I'll be talking about aligning people, culture, skills, innovation, and the mindset that is needed for digital transformation. It's no longer business as usual. Can anyone agree with me on that? It's no longer business as usual. The call to disrupt the status quo has never been more louder. You get up one morning and there is a new app released in the market. Before the end of that week, there is an announcement for more. Before you settle in, it's almost like the ground is consistently shaking. I was talking with someone from Turkey the other day, and they were talking about the constant earthquakes or earth tremors that happen in Turkey. It's like every time you have to brace yourself because the ground starts shaking, you know. So clearly, if we look at what is happening in the world today, the ground feels like it's consistently shaking. When you think you're catching up with ChatGPT, there is a new model that is coming up. When you're thinking you're catching up with 3.0, then there's 4.0. I listened to Sam Altman the other day, and he's talking about GPT-5 coming up by the end of this year. Like, okay, we are very close to AGI, but that's a story for another day. So for many leaders and people in general, the landscape feels really overwhelming. And by the end of this talk, I hope that many of you in the room can feel less overwhelmed and feel less confused by artificial intelligence or by the change that is happening in the world in general. And when we talk about disruption, it's about shaking things up, right? This intelligent disruption is shaking everything up. It's challenging the norm. It's the change that is happening is at a speed that we have never seen before. And so I just wanted to compare briefly past disruptions versus intelligent disruption that is happening in our world today. And past disruption was driven by breakthroughs like electricity, internet, mobile phones, and all of these things. Major shifts, but still, these were very linear and relatively very predictable. Linear in the sense that it took years for adoption to happen in the marketplace. But in this age and time, a new app comes into the market and you hear of 100,000 adoptions in a few days or even in a few hours. So that is how fast things are changing now. Back then, in the age of normal disruption, businesses had enough time to adapt. Because if it took this amount of years for cell phones to be adopted, businesses had enough time to make sure, okay, how do we adapt for the cell phone era? But today, things are changing so fast that businesses don't have time to adapt. And intelligent disruption is exponential. In fact, when we really look at what is happening, it's beyond exponential. These are quantum leaps we're talking about. It's self-evolving, often unpredictable, challenging traditional business models. So if you are still basing your mindset or your business on tradition, you will not survive what is already here and what is coming. And so here are some key traits of intelligent disruption. They're being driven by AI and algorithm. They're faster than human planning. I heard a lot today about 5-year planning into 2030, and I was like, I hope those plans are agile enough. So what is happening with intelligent disruption is that it is way faster than human planning and is capable of self-improving. We think of agentic systems. These are systems that can improve by themselves. And so it's redefining everything, redefining customer experience. What then do you do as a business? Do you continue to play by the traditional playbook? No, a traditional playbook no longer applies. And the traditional playbook refers to a set of established rules and strategies that organizations and leaders have practiced for so long. But that is crumbling under the weight of artificial intelligence. It is based on what worked in the past. But one thing we need to know now is that what worked in the past is not going to work in this age and time. What brought you here as a business, as a leader, there's no guarantee that what brought you here is going to take you into the future. Things like long-term planning, your 5-year plan, AI is challenging all of that. Job security through specialization and all of that, AI is disrupting all of these traditional playbook and models that we know about. And so, in business and in leadership, a traditional playbook includes linear career paths and rigid job roles. Because what we are seeing as things are changing into the future, all of these things that are so rigid, even job titles and job roles, everything is going to merge, it's merging. And so if you are of the mindset that, no, my career is this or my job description is this, you may find yourself wanting in this age and time centralized decisions. Is it just one person in your organization that has to make a decision? And if their phone does not go through everything, we stand on a standstill till that person come along? These are traditional models. These are a traditional playbook. So if things are still centralized, if technology is a support function instead of your core strategic driver, you are setting yourself up for failure as a leader or as a business. So because the game has changed, and when the game changes, the playbook needs to change. The traditional playbook assumes that the world will stay the same. But we are no longer seeing that happening. The world is changing so fast. A traditional playbook no longer works because, again, change is exponential. Agility, adaptability, innovation, these are the things that organizations need to embrace to make sure that we stay relevant. And leaders need to think beyond tradition because we are leading in a world where change is no longer linear. Leaders don't have to just understand technology. They need to understand the impact on the people, the impact on the culture, and the impact on their core mission and purpose. How does this impact them? As a leader, yes, you need to understand what technology entails and all of that, but how does it impact your people? Because if organizations go in tech first without really thinking and considering the people, any of the digital transformation strategy, you'll find that it will fail because